Hi, this is Perfume Coast, so welcome to my channel. Maybe I'm late to all parties, but it really strikes me how many unique and great perfumes I own that are never being talked about. So I decided to share my 5-star underrated collection with the world. So there will be a few series down the line, whereas I will introduce or reintroduce you to some of my absolute favorite but underrated perfume gems. These are mostly niche brands, but I will also throw in some designer and budget-friendly ones to the mix. Now, time is important, so let's dive into the ocean of perfumes. And the first fragrance I'd like to talk about today is by famous Swiss house Mizensir, owned by no less famous creator Alberto Marias, who's also head designer there as far as I know. So the name of the fragrance is Luxury, and to me, the name nicely correlates with the essence of the fragrance, well, sheer luxury. The scent is fully dedicated to the note iris, and I happen to be a big fan of iris to the point that iris happens to be my favorite note in the perfumery world. And this fragrance is by far my most favorite out of all 50 plus bottles that I own. And this fragrance is of course about iris. But let's take a look at the notes first. So on the top here, we've got bergamot and orange blossom. And in the middle, we've got iris and ambroxan. And finally, in the base, we've got white musk, Tahitian vanilla, benzoin, and tonka bean. Now, straight off the bat, I'm getting this beautiful and powdery iris. Quite strong iris, but iris with a bit of a twist. And this twist is about being resinous, zesty, and also quite juicy. And this zestiness, juiciness, and tanginess, in my view, is achieved by the presence of bergamot and orange blossom, I thought. This feature lasts for quite a bit, which is a good thing to me as well. Further on, I'd like to mention that this scent is more on the colder side, not necessarily cold stone, but nonetheless very different from those overly sweet irises that one came across so often these days. And these overly sweet irises I personally hate because from them I get neither my gourmand nor do I get my iris. So what's good news as well about this fragrance is that it doesn't contain any vegetal notes or accords, because that's also quite characteristic to many iris forward fragrances and releases, unfortunately. So overall, as I mentioned, the name quite corresponds to the essence of the fragrance. You can tell straight away that very expensive and high quality materials are used in creating this fragrance. I really recommend this fragrance to those of you who are big fans of iris, like myself, for example, but who are looking for your strong iris, which is not boring, but amplified with other notes as well. I also need to mention that in terms of occasion, it's quite office appropriate. But make no mistake, its complexity suggests that it's more of an office boss rather than office trainee, if that makes sense. Next up is another underrated gem in my collection by the house Xerjoff, and the name of the fragrance is Allende, and this fragrance is fully dedicated to the note of vanilla. So let's take a look at the notes that Fragrantica is giving us. So on the top we've got Madagascar vanilla and magnolia, in the middle we've got Madagascar vanilla and cacao, and finally in the base we've got yet another time Madagascar vanilla. So it's a scent which is vanilla through and through, apparently. It opens up to me with a strong aldehydic touch, and that's a queer thing because it doesn't contain any aldehydic notes according to the Fragrantica or the house itself. However, in about 5 seconds, this aldehydic touch disappears, and take it from someone who's not a big fan of aldehydes like myself. So maybe this aldehydic touch is coming from magnolia, I don't know, but it's quite prominent, to my nose at least, in the very opening. However, as the scent progresses, it enters this extremely vanilla-y territory and becomes this sweet and smooth vanilla. So I also can detect quite a bit of sweet cacao dusting. However, this note disappears closer to the dry down and converts into the amplification of the creaminess. So this scent becomes even creamier, and so at the end of the day you're getting your extremely creamy and sweet vanilla with a touch of gourmand, but gourmand not the likes of vanilla extrait, for example, or not the likes of cakey vanilla. So this fragrance remains within the realm of perfumery scent, which is good news to me. So in terms of occasion, I would wear this across the whole day because it's quite, I think, light during the day and appropriate to the evening occasion. However, in terms of the season, in my view, it's more of a, catering more to a colder climate or season. So next up, yet another gem by another house, which is called Milk Musk, and the house is Molton Brown. So let's take a quick look at the notes first. So on the top we've got milk and Allende, which is sort of raisin. Then in the middle we've got vanilla, musk and ambroxan, and finally in the base we've got tonka bean and benzoin. Now this one opens up to me again with just a touch of aldehydes, although again aldehydes are not present here at all. But aldehydes here are very different from the likes of Chanel No. 5, for example. I wouldn't call them strong even. They're just, wrapping a bit this milkiness that you can feel straight off the bat. So what's also characteristic to the scent is, together with milkiness, you're having and getting quite a bit of herbaceousness to it. And probably this herbal accord is coming from the raisins that are present here. So the image I'm getting from this fragrance is this spicy, cold, unsweetened milk. And that's where I'm saying that it's quite a unisex scent, because it can appeal to women because it's all creamy and milky, and it can be appealing to men just because it's very spicy and herbal and not sweet at all. So closer to the dry down, I smell quite a bit of woodiness, and that's why I could compare this fragrance to another brand release, which is Commodity Milk, and specifically Bold version. And Bold is, of course, the more amplified version of Milk release by Commodity brand. However, as far as Commodity release is concerned, I consider it to be more simplistic, whilst this one is a lot more classy and complex to me. So at the end of the day, again, what you're dealing here with is very unique, image of cold milk with a bit of bitterness in the middle. And finally, to wrap this video up, we've got yet another nice and underrated release by designer house Chopard, and it belongs to the line Imperial, and the name is Vanilla Malika. And this one literally doesn't have any reviews anyway. Well, at least a few months ago, when I got interested, got attracted by the bottle of this fragrance, which is gorgeous in my view, I couldn't find a single review over any social media, which is a shame. So, but let's take a look at the notes, because the notes here are quite interesting. So on the top, we've got incense and lychee and pink pepper. In the middle, we've got two types of vanilla, such as bourbon and Madagascar vanilla. And finally, in the base, we've got a popenox, which is another type of resin, then sandalwood and cashmeran. So this one is very unique, I think, scent for the designer brand especially, because it opens up as an extremely niche fragrance, niche-like fragrance, because it's quite complex. So I'm getting abundance of fruitiness mixed in with vanilla, and I'm getting even quite a bit of vintagey vibes, but not old-fashioned vibes, just vintagey, which make this fragrance quite classy rather than anything else. So then this fragrance becomes quite smoky as well. And what's characteristic about this scent is that I'm getting straight away the whole cluster of notes from straight off the bat. So, and then these notes, as this fragrance progresses, start to dance with one another. and start to give way to one another. So during different times wearing this fragrance, you may get different notes. So there is something fresh to it as well, and then what you're getting at the end of the day is your very unique, predominantly fruity vanilla with a bit of complexity. But that's it, guys. This wraps up my video. If you liked this video, if you found it of any use, please like it, please subscribe to the channel, provide any comments you like, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.